What up, weebs? It is your fellow otaku friend in arms here, Alex, aka Yesterday's Youth, aka Old, and I am here to dissect another episode of Bocchi the Rock. I covered the first episode not that long ago. I'll link the video somewhere up there, and I enjoyed it. I'm interested to kind of just see how the band develops, see how the characters kind of unfold. And as a guitar player, I primarily play metal music, and I'm interested just to kind of see what the process is as a band, how to come together as artists, and kind of how the characters overcome some of their like anxieties or peer pressure or things like that. And I'm really excited to do that. So let's get to the video. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Starting off this episode with a very, very cute doggy. Shiba. Okay. Okay, the only thing I'm desperately hoping for is that there will not be any sort of like fan service scenes. I would much appreciate that. At least that would be not exactly the vibe for me. All right, we're going 7 days earlier. Okay, so I'm assuming that she's maybe overthinking kind of their stance in this band or kind of their place. I don't really know how they ended up getting to taking what appeared to be an ice bath, unless they were just suddenly binging like a bunch of Joe Rogan episodes, but you know, we're gonna find out. So not even, I'll just say not even as like in regards to being a musician, but just in regards to being an anxious person, I will say that like part of the hardest thing of just like going out and doing social stuff is like it's always about like that first, for me at least, for that first 5 or 10 minutes of just like arriving, like the first, like once you get somewhere and like you're seen by people, that is like the peak anxiety moment. Typically after you get past those first 5 to 10 minutes, a lot of times things kind of smooth out. Not always, but a lot of the time in my experience they do. But it's like those first 5 to 10 minutes just like showing up and be like hi is just like absolutely like nerve-wracking. Okay, so okay, so it seems like the band members like definitely notice like kind of the awkwardness, but it doesn't seem like they're very judgmental to it. It seems like they maybe understand it or maybe have been there before themselves, something like that. Which is good, I think. Gives you good perspective. Bungee jumping? What? Oh, I got it's like a talking cube. I don't know that I've ever had someone roll me a talking cube on a topic that we could go, but that's actually not a bad idea. If you're with someone that doesn't know how to run conversations, I mean that's not a bad idea. I like it. Damn. Okay, so they're saying how they wanted to go to a high school where nobody knew them, which is absolutely extremely relatable. And they end up having to do a 2-hour commute each way, it sounded like, for going to their high school, which that does not sound relatable. That sounds absolutely miserable. But I I think that also is a very telling sign of not wanting to go somewhere or wanting to go somewhere where just it's like a fresh start. Suddenly got very dramatic. Found out Rio kind of like doesn't have friends either, but also doesn't really want friends. Kind of, you know, kind of based. Mellowcore. I don't think I've ever heard of. I'm pretty sure I've never heard of mellowcore, but I like the idea. For some reason I'm imagining like Animal Crossing music, maybe with like some sick lo-fi beats. I'm not really sure. My Seishun complex? Oh boy, here we go. Here we go with this again. You like bands that write about bleakness of their high school years, right? Okay, all right, edgy, very edgy. Sounds like a lot of guitar players I know. So I think also like a unique note, or like a piece of like, I guess, insight that I could give is that I have noticed in like all the different bands or projects I've played music in, or people I've played music with, is that there's always like such a varied, like diverse selection of interest when it comes to music. Like someone could really like jazz, someone could really just like metal, or like what they're trying to create. Someone could really like, rap. Someone, and I think that when you get the best sounding music that you guys can create together is when you kind of take like a little bit of each of those inspirations and sprinkle them like over your ideas and create something just a little bit weird, a little bit unique, a little bit of your own flavor, if you will. Okay, so we've learned that they're in search of a singer, that they had a singer that just kind of dipped on them. They're not really sure why, and found out none of them can sing for the most part, which also checks out. We're talking about quotas now? Oh, okay. So they're it sounds like describing their quotas being like how, just talking about working with venues and show promoters, things like that, which I mean, that's a pretty rough discussion, like, because when you play a show, oftentimes you'll rent out a room and there's a room fee if it's like a nicer venue, and you're expected to sell like X amount of tickets for the show promoter that promotes your show and all those things. There's multiple bands that are responsible for X amount of tickets, and then sometimes there's like more chill venues where there's like, just like, we'll give you beers for free, you keep like the door fee, and we just keep what like the bar makes. So the amount of money you make at shows is like greatly varies based on like just like kind of what their contracts are and their location and things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a money pit. Yeah, I think I'm trying to come to yesterday's concert. One of the hard lessons to learn as a musician is like, you really shouldn't get into it for the money. I think there are a lot of unique ways, luckily now with social media, that you can get your music out there and you can make money via kind of being a content creator. But I like it for playing live music. It's one of those things that it's just such like they said, it is kind of a money pit, and it is like touring also. I've done a few different tours, and you're happy if you break even on a lot of those tours. Now they're talking about possibly getting jobs so they can like pay for a lot of the things you need to pay for as musicians to play shows, or have the equipment you need for shows, things like that. And now Hidori's offering their money their mom's been saving up for their wedding. Naturally, I can't say that I've ever seen this happen, so that's unique. I don't want to work based. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so now that I'm even this far into just like a couple episodes, I could totally see where I was wrong in, I guess, imagining what Bocchi the Rock was about. I did like K-On! Is a lot more like them just like in the process of making music and them just messing around while they're making the music, where this is much more like Hitori trying to conquer their social anxieties and pressures that seem to be very, very overwhelming, which I wasn't aware that was kind of like the driving force. I think it is an interesting approach, because I don't know that I can think of many anime that have done it kind of that way before. So I'm suspecting, and I could be wrong, that they're gonna like save a bunch of the music that they create for like the very, very like last episode of the first season, and like maybe we'll see like a tiny stride and like Hidori's attitude, kind of like in like Given, I guess, is like the closest thing I can think of, is like you know, they kind of like came out of the shell at the very last episode of the first season and play music in front of people. That's kind of just, that's, I could be totally absolutely wrong. That's just what I'm spitballing right now. Okay, so found out now that Rio is a kind of privileged, has a very rich family, and is not a very responsible spender. Which is something you also will encounter in a lot of musicians that are gearheads or like equipment junkies of sorts that just need the latest, you know, digital pedal or pedal board or just a new guitar because, like, you know, I've been playing mine for 3 months. Of course I should get another $2,000 guitar. Of course. Like, why wouldn't I do that? But they're trying to get her to work, Hidori to work at this venue now, which again sounds kind of similar to Given, which I like. Okay, here we've arrived at the ice bath. Oh my god. So dramatic. I work hard at everything except my job. What am I seeing right now? Oh, I'm so stupid. I totally just understood what was going on. So she's trying to give herself a cold. I don't think I've ever actually tried to go out of my way to get a cold. That's impressive. Honestly. Confrontation? Okay, don't know who this is, but we got ourselves a little bit of an attitude. Character with a choker. Let's go. The manager even. The manager's scary. I mean, managers do that sometimes. The guitarist who played in the box. That's like a pretty, I don't know, that's a pretty dope reputation to have. Like, I truly think if Hidori like just played in a box the whole show, like they would probably become pretty big deals on social media. Oh, Nijika's sister. Oh. So Hidori just is very kind of like lost in their own world to the point where they don't even really pay attention to some conversations. I got it. I see. You've been learning character building little by little. I like it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Hidori's first day at work. We're gonna see how this goes. Hiding under the table. Okay, so I've heard like a lot of like things like regarding like Bocchi's like just like levels of anxiety. Some people may be saying like, oh, like, you know, no one could be like that socially anxious or blah blah blah, like this or that. I think underestimating anxiety is a pretty like ignorant thing to do. I personally, like, as a really hyper anxious person, like that kind of like just makes it work, like I'd say like functional anxious person, that I've also met just a ton of people that really have to put themselves like out there or struggle a lot with anxiety, to the point where it's like kind of crippling. So I would say that there's nothing I've seen so far here that I would like really put out there to be like, that's not possible. Like, I could never imagine someone doing that. You know what I mean? They just did Bocchi just whip out their guitar whilst being shown where cocktails are? So okay, so Nijika seems to be like the definitely is the foundation of like this show and keeping kind of like everything running. It seems like without them this band wouldn't really be doing anything, and that's also like an interesting thing because every band has the one person that's like, if the band didn't have them, they would definitely immediately fall apart when given any type of responsibility or like expectation. So that's a very realistic trait, because it's always one or sometimes two people, but usually there's the people that slack a little more than the others. It's hard to get a business license to run a concert venue. Super true. Okay, this Loneliness Hill arc is pretty sick. Oh man. Okay, so I also have some unique experience because I used to be a bartender for about 4 years, and which is a very common job for a lot of musicians or artists to do. And it gives you a lot of great people skills and like how to encounter really rough scenarios. The main rough scenario teaches you a lot about is dealing with really busy like times, like waves of business and crowds, which can be like super anxiety inducing. And like if you get caught out kind of in the weeds of it, like you just can crumble really fast. So I could see this going very bad for Bocchi. But praying for him, of course. Okay, they're not doing phenomenal yet. Alexandism, is that what their name? Alexandism? My name's Alex. Is this band about me? Cool. Okay. Intercepting, all of today's bands are really popular. Okay, so they're kind of, it seems like their goal to work this venue is like to really learn a lot about like more experienced musicians, which is amazing, because one of the biggest faults and hardest lessons to learn for a lot of musicians is listening. You would think that makes like super like a lot of sense to just listen as a musician because you use your ears, so much, but it's something that people's egos, I swear, they just will not allow them to do. And so if they're already learning to listen to people and like pay attention to people that like can teach them something they don't already know, that's a really good sign, I think. I'll do my best to the people. She's a real one. She's a real one, dude. I like that they've got the background sound of like a band like just mid song talking down really well. They are kind of noticing that like the place is very like engaged and, well, as they said, united, which is really cool. I mean, that's like part of the awesome part of going to live music shows is like you really it's just like you get to put everything aside and you all just kind of get experience like this like intimate like cool like show or event together, and it's something that you keep with you for the rest of your life, and it's cool. And if you were there, you were there, and if you know what in good God is happening here. Bocchi's imagination is very cool. Hard work, brother. Getting that hard work in, brother. Wholesome. They seem like they're definitely going to become good friends, which is very wholesome. Made it through entire damn summer. Good job! Slaying the game, queen. Do my best again tomorrow. Aw. Look at them. It's nice that they already have faith in somebody that they're wanting to join their band. That's kind of what you have to do. You have to believe in your teammates. Or else, what kind of team are you? What kind of team are you? Oh, no way. Please. Stop this. Oh, now she got sick. Okay, she wasn't trying to this time. The episode ends off them mentioning you need to find a singer, which I'm guessing is going to be the next plot of the next couple episodes. And we're going to introduce a fourth member character even. So yeah, I thought that episode was pretty good. That was very much like a character arc building kind of episode, which, like I mentioned earlier, I did not foresee kind of being like much more involved in a music anime. It seems like it's a lot less of that. Sometimes kind of like sports anime, it's kind of more about like the growth as the artist. So I think it's kind of a cool take. Again, it kind of reminds me of Given, which is one of my favorite shows. I love Given. And yeah, so I'm excited to watch the next episode. And if you love Bocchi the Rock or anime, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. I would appreciate it. I am Alex once again, and I will catch y'all later. All right, friends? Okay?